Tyageshwaram Ramakrishnam Saradam Matrurupinim Vivekanandam Acharyam Natva Vakshyami Shuddhaye Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Sharirasya Cha Bhaishajena Yopakarottam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjali Ranatosmi. We have been discussing this Yoga Chaturvyuha, 4 aspects of yoga, drawing parallel from the science of medicine. This is how the Bhashyakara has put it. So, in science of medicine there is disease which has to be got rid of, which is heya, to be got rid of. And in the science of yoga, heyam dukkham anagatam. There is something that we want to get rid of from our life, and that is the misery. That is the heya, to be got rid of, like disease. And also we want happiness, and at the same time it is not temporary removal of misery that yogi looks at, but atyantika dukkha nivritti, complete and irrevocable cessation of suffering. So that is the heya. Dukkha is the heya. Then in the science of medicine there is something called diagnosis. What is the reason for this disease, cause of disease? And in the science of yoga we have heya hetu, the cause of this dukkha. And that is drashtu drashyayoho sanyogo heya hetu. The sanyoga, the conjunction of the drashta and the drishya, of the seer and the seen, of the experiencer and the experienced, their conjunction, that is the hetu, the cause of dukkha. This Purusha Prakriti, whatever you call it, I mean that's how it is there. Purusha and Chitta, they coming together. And then we saw what is drashta, what is drishya. We saw that drishya is composed of gunas. They are the basic building blocks, and it has various phases, pradhana, mahat, and then there are avisheshas and visheshas. And there is asmita and panchatanmatra, subtle elements. And then there are the indriyas and gross elements and the mind. So the whole drishya, it's a gamut from very basic pradhana up to the distinguished vishesha kind of thing. At various stages the drishya is there, and there is this drashta, drishimatraha. It is just the observer, the seer, so to say. That we saw. We also saw that this whole purpose of drishya, it exists for the purpose of the Purusha. The drishya exists, the prakriti, the nature exists for the sake of Purusha, for its bhoga and apavarga, for its experience and liberation, for both. So that we saw. So that is what we have seen what is drashta, we have seen what is drishya. Now the sanyoga, in last class we saw what is sanyoga. Swami shaktiyoho swarupopalabdhi hetu sanyoga. It was defined in a reverse way, so to say. Sanyoga, what is its effect? That's how it was defined. What is the effect of sanyoga? What does sanyoga become cause of? That's how it was defined. And it becomes the cause for the swa and swami. Swami is the Purusha and swa is the chitta and the rest of the things. Their swarupa upalabdhi hetu. And we saw what does this mean. It means this Purusha and the chitta and the rest, they have been put in a certain position, juxtaposition you can say, certain equation between them of owner and the owned, of the experiencer and the experienced. The cause of this kind of equation between the two is the sanyoga. That's how it was put. Sanyoga is what makes the Purusha and the Chitta to come in this kind of equation, that one becomes the owner, the other becomes the owned. One becomes the experiencer, the other becomes the experienced. And of course, extended the same logic further. Sanyoga is the cause for bhoga and apavarga. When the experienced is experienced, then it becomes bhoga. When the drishya is experienced, it becomes bhoga. And when the swarupa of the drashta is realized, of the Swami is realized, that becomes apavarga. So unless there is sanyoga, neither bhoga is possible, nor apavarga is possible. That's what we discussed last time. We are in the state of sanyoga, and we have these two options open for us. We can accept this sanyoga and experience this world, or we can practice yoga and segregate ourselves, know our real nature, achieve apavarga. Both are possible. So both the options are available to us, open to us on account of this sanyoga. This sanyoga makes it possible for us to take either of the routes. Either we can take the route of bhoga, as we explained last time. You can use the milk as it is, enjoy it, or work, take this cream out of it, take the butter out of it. It's left to us. Butter and all other things have got mixed up together, and what we have got is a milk. You want to use it as it is, that will be bhoga. We use this mixed up entity that we are now. But we want to segregate and take the cream out, take the butter out, then that becomes apavarga. For that you have to practice yoga. So both are possible. So that is the sanyoga defined. Sanyoga is what makes Purusha and Chitta, Purusha and Prakriti to come in that particular equation of the enjoyer and the enjoyed, like that. But this sanyoga alone is, though it's not a simple, in the sense it is not the last word, so to say. So in the last class towards the end we saw tasya hetur avidya. This sanyoga itself is caused by avidya. So avidya is the main culprit, so to say. This avidya causes sanyoga, and then sanyoga leads to misery. That's how they put it. The yogis, they have put it. So avidya, we saw in our last class, it has 3-4 phases. What is temporary, we take it as permanent. What is dukkha, we take it as sukha. What is ashuchi or impure, we take it as pure, like that. And anatmani atmabuddhi. What is non-self, we take it as the self. 3-4 aspects of avidya were there. But here in this context, anatmani atmabuddhi, avidya, that is what is accepted. So that is the first, so to say, layer, wherein we accept what we are not to be ourselves. When the Purusha accepts Chitta to be itself, and then sanyoga happens. So the second layer, so to say, is sanyoga. First layer is avidya. It's like you go to a new home or whatever you call it. You enter there, establish yourself, identify, so to say. And then you form equations with neighbors, different kind of equations. So entering the house, being owner of that is kind of avidya. And then establishing certain kind of equations with the neighbors is kind of caused by sanyoga. Like that, some simile we can give. But this, they have accepted these two. They almost are simultaneous. This avidya and sanyoga, though for technical reasons they have been segregated, but they are almost simultaneous. But there is this sutra and there is this fact of avidya being the cause of sanyoga, and sanyoga being the cause of heya or dukkha, which is to be got rid of. So tasya hetur avidya, I think that's where we left last time. So the next sutra is tad abhavat sanyoga bhavo hanam tad rishehe kaivalyam. That is the next sutra. So we have seen what is heya, what is to be got rid of. We have seen what is heya hetu, that is the sanyoga of drashta and drishya, We have seen what is drashta, what is drishya, what is sanyoga, and what is the cause of sanyoga, avidya. That also we have seen. So we have seen what is deceits. We have seen what is to be got rid of, that is deceits. We have seen what is the cause of these deceits. That also we have seen. And then third parallel or third aspect from the science of medicine is the state of being free from disease or state of health. And that is what the Yoga Shastra calls as Hanam. So there was Heyam, then there was Heya Hetu, then there is Hanam. That is state where what was to be got rid of has been got rid of. That is the third aspect of this Chaturvyuha. Hanam. Heyam, Heya Hetu, Hanam. There it was disease, the cause of disease, and a state which is free from disease. So this is compared to that. Hanam. This Hanam is being described now. What is Hanam? So Patanjali or Sutrakara is saying, Tadabhavat Sanyoga Bhavo Hanam. What is Hanam? Hanam is Sanyoga Bhavaha, Abhava, absence, destruction of Sanyoga. It's Hanam, caused by Tadabhava. Tad here refers to avidya, which was mentioned in the earlier sutra. Tasya Hetur Avidya was the sutra. Tadabhavat, that is avidyaya abhavat, caused by that. So Sanyoga Bhava, absence of Sanyoga, destruction of Sanyoga is Hanam, is the state of, so to say, moksha, as he will say in the next phrase, is the state that we desire, is the state that is free from misery. But that Sanyoga Bhava is caused due to abhava of avidya. Tat abhavat Sanyoga Bhavo Hanam. So Sanyoga Bhava caused due to destruction of avidya is Hanam. That is the state that is free from misery. And he says, Tad Rishe Kaivalyam. That is the state of Kaivalya or moksha of the drashta. Drishehe, drashta. You can say drashta. So this is where the state that is free from misery, that was the goal that we set out, is explained. What is the state of Hanam? What is Hanam? What is, in the language of the science of medicine, what is the disease-free state? And in the language of yoga, it will be, what is the state where misery has been destroyed? That is the state where Sanyoga will be destroyed, but that destruction of Sanyoga will be the result of the destruction of ignorance. That state is a state where one is free from misery, state of Hanam. And that itself is the state of Kaivalya. Couple of points we have to understand. Sanyoga Bhava is Hanam. You could have just said only that much. Because once this Sanyoga is not there, we don't get into this equation, that would have been sufficient. But he says, Sanyoga cause tadabhavat, between avidya, and how does this Hanam happens? Next it will tell Viveka Khyati, knowledge giving rise to Kaivalya. That is, generally we accept. Knowledge gives rise to moksha. But there is that fine nuance, so to say, that knowledge doesn't directly give rise to moksha or directly lead to moksha. Knowledge leads to destruction of ignorance. And destruction of ignorance itself is a state of moksha. Destruction of ignorance itself is a state of moksha. Knowledge does not create moksha. That is the point. They give the example, a person has, or he or she, a person thinks that he has lost a necklace. So he's worried and searching everywhere and all that. And then someone points out that you are wearing it already. The necklace is there in your neck already. Now, And then that person sees and realizes and is happy. Now, that knowledge did not create necklace. It did not create any happiness on its own. It destroyed the ignorance about the presence of necklace. The necklace has been there all through. The person just forgot it. There was ignorance about the presence of necklace. That ignorance was destroyed by knowledge, and the necklace, we can say, was revealed, which already was there. So this moksha is like that. Knowledge will destroy our ignorance about our real nature, and that itself is moksha. This is because if something is created, it becomes anitya. If moksha becomes the result of knowledge, then it becomes created. And if it is created, it is impermanent, it is temporary. So moksha is not anitya, it is nitya. So destruction of ignorance, that itself is moksha. And that is done by knowledge. So knowledge does not create kaivalya or moksha. It just destroys our ignorance about it. So that is another point which we tell. So tadabhavat sanyoga bhavo hanam. And that itself is the state of kaivalya. When the ignorance is destroyed, sanyoga is also destroyed. And that itself is a state of kaivalya. There is no separate kaivalya to be achieved, to be attained after this destruction of ignorance. Nothing more is to be done. That itself is a state of kaivalya. Swami Vivekananda, Swamiji has written commentary on every sutra. And it's very deep commentary and very beautiful commentary. In his famous quote, "Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest the divinity within. Do it either by work or worship." There is a quote. So that quote comes here while expounding on this particular sutra. Tadabhavat sanyoga bhavo hanam tadrishehe kaivalyam. When he is giving commentary on this particular sutra, that quote comes. It's a very important quote, very oft-quoted also. So that comes here. Anyway, so the third aspect of this Chaturvyuha, of this fourfold yoga, is explained, which is hanam, state of freedom from whatever had to be got rid of. And that itself is state of moksha. Then the fourth one, if you go back to the science of medicine, it will be chikitsa. What is to be done to get back the state of health? Disease-free state we have understood, but what is the upaya? So hanopaya. What is the upaya? What is the means to achieve this state, achieve this disease-free state? That comes the fourth. And in the science of yoga, what is the moksha upaya? What is the upaya for achieving this state of hanam, which is synonymous with kaivalya? So that is the next sutra, Viveka Khyati Raviplava Hanopaya. Viveka Khyati Raviplava Hanopaya. So that is the sutra. So there is this upaya, there is this means of hanam, which is Viveka Khyati. That is and there is one adjective given, aviplava. We will see what it means. But this is Viveka Khyati Raviplava Hanopaya. That is the sutra. Viveka Khyati is Sattva Purusha Anyata Khyati. That is awareness, knowledge. That Purusha and Chitta, these are distinct. Their anyata, their distinction. Knowledge of that, knowledge of the distinction of the Purusha and Chitta, that is Viveka Khyati. Discriminate, discernment. There are so many ways it is translated. But the meaning is this. Viveka Khyati is the knowledge of the distinction of the Purusha and Chitta. That is Viveka Khyati. That is the Hana Upaya. That is the Upaya. That is the means of achieving this state of Hana, Kaivalya. But as I said, one adjective is given, that is Aviplava. Aviplava means it is pure, untarnished, or unhindered. Unhindered, untarnished Viveka Khyati is the upaya. Now this kind of raises a question. So is there something kind Viplava Viveka Khyati? Is there something impure, tarnished, hindered Viveka Khyati? Is it there? Is something like that there? Example is given, see it is not exact, example is given, early morning sun we see, just at the time of sunrise. We see the full disk, complete sun, not a part of it. Complete sun we see. It is red and all, whatever. It is there. And then at the midday, afternoon, we see the sun. It is the same sun. We are the same person. In both instances, we are seeing the full sun, complete, round, whatever you call it. But the effect is so different. The warmth, the light that the sun in the afternoon, which is at the zenith, gives, and the effect of the rising sun, full sun, are entirely different. So also, there is something called Viveka Khyati, which is not Aviplava, we can say, which has been, so to say, tarnished by the presence of traces of Rajas and Tamas in the mind. That will not lead to Hanopaya. That's what the Sutrakara is trying to tell. The Viveka Khyati, only such that will lead to Hanopaya, is the one which is Aviplava, because it has to destroy the avidya. Tadabhava we saw, avidya bhava, and this Viveka Khyati is the upaya. So the function of Viveka Khyati is complete destruction of avidya. So that kind of Viveka Khyati, which is unblemished, unhindered, or which has the potency to burn these impressions of avidya and turn them into Dagdha Bija Bhava. This avidya has to be turned into Dagdha Bija Bhava. Such kind of Viveka Khyati. That is the Hanopaya. That is the Mokshopaya. So it means as if there is some partial Viveka Khyati or tarnished Viveka Khyati, which is perforce we have to accept. The other explanation of this Viplava or tarnished Viveka Khyati is intellectual knowledge. We know Purusha is different from Chitta, from the mind. Our real nature is different from the mind. This is also kind of intellectual knowledge. This doesn't destroy ignorance. So any kind of knowledge at whatever level, so long as it doesn't destroy ignorance, it will not be called Aviplava. So only that Viveka Khyati, which burns the impressions, vasanas of avidya, that is Aviplava. And that is the Hanopaya. See now next. This particular, what kind of Viveka Khyati can be called Aviplava? There is explanation in the next sutra. We'll see in next class. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.